So here is my solutions to my assignment. So the problem is says a mass of 0.10 slug in space is subjected to an external vertical force of 4 pound. So if the local gravity acceleration is 30.5 feet per second squared and if friction effects are neglected, determine the acceleration of the mass if the external vertical force is acting upward or downward. So let's first consider it for the solving the acting upward. So we have the given, we have the mass. So we have the mass which is 0.10 slug and a force which is 4 4 pounds rather, and a gravity of acceleration that is 30.5 feet per second squared. So to illustrate the first questions which is acting forward, so we have a mass. Of course, a mass will have a weight which is equal to mg over k, or mass times the gravity of acceleration over k, and of course we have a force that is acting upward. So since the force is acting upward, to solve for F net, that is F net will be equal to force minus the weight. So let's first solve for the weight. So again, the formula for the weight is mg over k, or mass times the gravity of acceleration over k. So we have a mass which is 0.10 slug and gravity of acceleration which is 30.5 feet per second squared. And for the value of rk, it's 1 slug feet over pound force second squared. So we have to cancel the slug, and also we have to cancel the feet per second squared. So we have left the pound force. So for our weight, so it will be 3.05 pound force. And since we already have the value of our weight, we can now solve for our F net. So again, the formula for our F net is the force acting minus the weight. So we have the force which is 4 pound and our weight which is 3.05 pound force. So to solve the equation, 4 pound minus 3.05 pound, which is equal to 0.95 pound force. But this is not the final problem, since it's asking us to solve or determine the acceleration of the mass. So to solve for the acceleration of the mass, we have the formula. The F net is equal to ma. We can also use for the key. So to solve for the acceleration, we have the formula. The acceleration is equal to F net times k over m. So this is the solution. Acceleration is equal to, for our F net, we have the 0.95 pound force, and for the value of our k, it's the same. It will be 1 slug feet over pound force second squared. And of course we have our mass which is 0.10 slug. So the answer for the acceleration in which an external vertical force is acting upward, so the answer is 9.5 feet per second squared. So here is my solution. So let's proceed with the second questions. To determine the acceleration of the mass if the external vertical force is acting downward. So again, to illustrate the situations or the problems, so we have here a mass and of course a weight and a force that is acting downward. So since the force is acting downward, to solve for the F net, we have to add the force and also the weight. Since we already solved for the weight, so we can now solve for the F net. So we have 4 pounds plus 3.05, which is the value of our weight, And for our F net, we have 7.05 pound force. And again, it's asking us to determine the acceleration of the mass. So we have the same formula. Acceleration is equal to F net times k over the mass. So for our F net, we have 7.05 pound force. And for our k, the same value, 1 slag feet over pound for second squared. And of course, our mass is 0.10 slag. So to solve the equation, we get a result of 70.5 feet per second squared. So therefore, the acceleration of the mass if the external vertical force is acting upward is 9.5 feet per second squared. And the acceleration of the mass if it's acting downward, it will be 70.5 feet per second squared. So that's all for my explanation, and here is my solution and answer.